this weather out here. This is crazy. And on a side note, I've learned that not all splitters are the same or, that good. This splitter in particular, thought USB-C to HDMI would be great for my ultra wide, kind of 2K screen and my 1080p screen. Yeah, it didn't work. So rip on me for that. Anyways, besides all that, as you can tell, this is a vertical vlog today because I had a plan for a video today, but I forgot the camera at home while I was out running errands. So I guess we're getting an iPhone 12 Max Pro 4K video HDR, all of that fun stuff. I'm not even sure why I'm saying all that. It doesn't really matter. Hopefully the video quality is good. Hopefully the audio quality is good with all this rain and road noise in the background. But anyways, to get to the main point in this video, I wanted to talk about how company loyalty doesn't mean jack squat. And you should not have crazy loyalty to a company because of this story I'm going to tell you today. So with my previous job, I started out making, $17.49 an hour as an intern. And that's one thing I like to tell people to do when they're starting off as a software developer, is that instead of going for a place like Revature or SmoothStack, any of those places that say that they will train you and get you a job out in the market, start you off at $55,000 to $60,000 a year. You gotta be really careful about those, because if you don't pay attention, if once you reach a certain threshold, however long you have been training with them, and you decide that doing that program actually isn't for you, then what will happen is that they will charge you $20,000 for their time. And it's in the contract. So if you try to leave early, before the trial period or whatever, they'll charge you $20,000. On top of that, they won't give you much of a relocation fee. You won't really know where you might be relocated to, so you can be relocated to anywhere. You gotta be just ready to go. They say that they pay for your housing and whatnot, which they kind of do, but they still, during that training, they'll pay you a minimum wage at whatever state you're in, and then take a cut of that to pay for your housing. So I really feel like places like SmoothStack and Revature are not good places to start off at. If you can, start off as an intern. But anyways, back to my story. So I started off as an intern at this place, and $17.49 an hour. It being my first job in software development, I'm excited for it. I'm it's not too bad, guys, especially if you can't really get into the internships at big tech companies like Google, Facebook, any of those big tech places. I guess Facebook's now Meta, but anyways, if you can't get an internship there, because those internships, they pay $50 an hour, which is crazy. And I started at $17.49 an hour, but I was happy for it because it gave me my first foot in the door. Now, somebody that doesn't have their bachelor's in computer science, or is not working on their bachelor's or master's, or any of those higher education levels, I was pretty happy. So started off here, worked there for a year as an intern. Yeah, so I worked as a year as an intern without any raises, and it kind of sucked, to be honest, because at that job I was getting so much work to do, a lot of work to do. But eventually I got my offer to stay there permanently at $45,000 a year, which is pretty low for an entry software developer anywhere. At that point, I was thinking, man, maybe I should have gone with Revature or SmoothStack, because they were starting people off at $55,000 to $60,000, $65,000, $70,000 a year, depending on where they were located at. But I was like, man, maybe I should have just done it. But I stuck it out. During that offer, I tried to negotiate with my boss, and, you know, brought over some evidence of how people were getting paid on average more for being an entry-level developer. And at that point, I'm like starting to transition from entry to junior level developer. So $45,000 is not like anything for anybody that's been there for a year doing like production work. Like stuff I was doing was going out to production for the business. Like it was intense stuff. Trying to negotiate with them, they pretty much laughed me out the door when I brought out like the, what do you call it, like pay scale and Glassdoor and all that stuff of what the wage should have been. So I got my $45,000. Then some months later, we get some new employees, some new interns, and I got my first raise from that $45,000 to $45,700. Woo, whoop-de-doo. And when I got that raise, I was actually training the new interns on the job. So I was a lead, a SME, which is another word for, or what do you call it? Acronym for subject matter expert. And I was a trainer. $45,700 on top of my regular workload as a software developer. And also during that time, I had my first son that was born. So I couldn't get full paternity leave. They told me that if I were to do that, then they couldn't guarantee that I keep my job. So that sucked. So I was working half-time while taking care of my newborn son and helping my, recovering wife from just giving birth. So that wasn't great, while training and doing production work and being, just all this work. So then new interns start. Took them 3 months to get their official offer, and they started off at $45,000 a year. 3 months on the job, and at that point I had been on the job for like almost a year and a half. So I'm pretty pissed that I'm making only $700 a year more than these 3-month-old developers. Like this is their first job, 3 months on the job, making $700 less than me a year, and I'm the lead, SME, trainer, all this stuff. And so I tried to negotiate one more time with my boss, because I was like, I'm doing all this work, gave up my time, worked during paternity leave, like I only took half, and it was crazy to me. And so again, I got pretty much laughed out the room. Like, they were like, yeah, no, we're not going to give you a raise. Pick up my wife and his glasses.
Okay, what's your name? All right, so you said Eliseo for me, right?
Yes.
And Sarah?
Yes.
So here's Sarah's. So you can try those on and tell me how they fit. But you can on these ones.
You ever just look at your car and think, that's a sexy, sexy girl. All right, just picked up the glasses. First errand of the day. Got mine in this pretty cool looking phone case, or not phone case, glasses case. And my wife's in this not so cool case, so sorry wife. But anyways, like, yeah, it was just crazy to me that I had given up so much to work for this company. I started off at really low pay for an intern. Stayed there for almost a year as that intern before I got my official offer to stay permanently. Still was getting paid pretty low for a junior developer. Then, try to negotiate twice, because at that point, the second time at least, I was a SME, lead, and trainer for the new developers. and I was only getting paid $700 more a year versus those new developers that were there for only 3 months. They were there for 3 months and they got their permanent offer for $45,000 a year. I was only getting paid $700 more for all the work I was doing and working and only taking half paternity leave. And whenever I took a vacation, I still worked a little bit during my vacation. Like I did not take a single vacation with them where I did not work at least a little. And yeah, just being pretty much laughed out of the room both times I tried to negotiate with them for a like fair wage with them. And so it took me leaving. Like at that point I was just like done. Like I just could not understand how they could start these new developers there at only $700 a year less than me. After I've been there for almost a year and a half at that point. And so it just makes me mad thinking about it. So first and second attempts to negotiate failed. So I was like, all right, they don't care about me. So I'm gonna just find another job. So I applied to some jobs. I got an offer for the job I'm currently at right now at double the pay that I was currently getting, and being jumped up to like a mid-level developer. In my opinion, still a little underpaid for my level, but at double the pay, it's hard to say no, especially with the benefits and stuff that came with the new job. Like everything was just leagues better than my last job. Way better work-life balance, way better pay, way better benefits, just even like less of a workload, like way better work-life balance. And I just, yeah, how could I say no to that? And then at that point, then my bosses wanted to try to negotiate with me. And I told them, hey, this is what my offer is right now. If we can beat it, I'll stay. And then, instead of just being like, yeah, we can do that or whatever, they're like, okay, we got to talk to each other to kind of see what we can do for you. And it's a little crazy to think that your current offer is that much. Like, are you sure it's actually that much? Like, yes, I know it's that much. I have it in my hand right now. And so, like, that just kind of made me mad. Like, they didn't believe that I was getting offered that much, even though 2 times before that, I was showing them what the job market, like the average pay for a developer with my kind of experience was. Still didn't believe me. And so then I was talking with my wife about it, and she was like, yeah, do you really want to stay with these people after the way they treated you? Like with how much they made you work, took half paternity leave, the benefits are crap, work-life balance is crap. Like, are you sure you want to stay with them and give them another chance? And at that point, I was like, you know what? Why do people give companies loyalty? Like, why do we give our employers so much loyalty? Like, I really don't understand. Like, and I feel like it's some psychological thing where some employers, I don't know if I was probably saying employees, but some employers will somehow get it in your mind that you should be thankful to them for giving you a job. And like, I just feel like there's something so wrong about that. Like, yes, thank you for the job, but they really needed you as an employee, which is why they hired you. And so it's like, I guess at the beginning, you can be grateful to them for giving you a job, but at what point should that stop? Like, I guess my question is, in the beginning, should you be thankful to them for giving you a job? And if so, for how long should you be thankful to them for? Because at some point, you are giving the employer a lot. And oftentimes, it's a lot for not a fair pay, not fair benefits, not fair work-life balance. At some point, that the scales kind of tip in their favor, whether it's in the beginning or later on in your employment there. And so I was like, yeah, you know what? I really shouldn't be thankful for them at this point. Like, they treated me like, yes, they gave me my first foot in the door as a software developer. which again, I will always champion getting an internship somewhere as a software developer before you try to join like Reaverture or SmoothStack or any of those other companies that will, with their whole training thing, you can know the whole spiel with that. I just feel like these employers don't care that much about you. Like, the coworkers were great at my last job. I loved them and I missed them dearly. But having great coworker friends doesn't put food on the table for you. Having great coworker friends doesn't give you better benefits. Doesn't give you better work-life balance. It just relationships, and relationships should be cherished. They should not just be like something given away or like just tarnished or anything. But these employers, these owners, these bosses, these higher ups, they do not care about you. They care about what you can do for them, which is fair. But if that's going to be fair, then it should be fair for you to not give them your loyalty, like your undying loyalty. Even if they were to offer me more money to stay, they still treated me so shitty for over a year and a half, up until the point where I was going to leave. Then suddenly they wanted to keep me and give me a raise and give me what I was asking for. And so at that point, it's almost like an abusive relationship. Do you really want to stay with somebody that take you for granted all the way up until the point you're going to leave, then suddenly they want to give you what you want? And I don't even know if they would have given me what I wanted. They probably would have given me an offer still lower than what my current job was giving me, just because they just did not believe how much I was getting paid, and they didn't want to keep me that much. They wanted to keep me, but they didn't want to keep me that badly. And so, yeah, that's just my question. Like, should we be grateful to them for giving us a job? And at what point does that tip? At what point does it make sense to not be thankful or grateful to them, if at all, from the beginning? But anyways, like, after I left, still pretty tight with my coworkers there. Still talk to them to this day. One of them was like, yeah, you know what? I want to come to your job. And it just so happened that my job was having openings for 3 more spots. So I recommended him. And so he applied. He asked for letters of recommendations from our supervisor, his supervisors then at that time, at our old company. And they started freaking out. They're like, oh crap, we're going to start losing people. And so they asked him what would be fair pay, or what he thought would be fair pay. And so he told them that after doing some research that I've already done twice and provided to them, might I add, at this point, the average starting salary for an entry-level developer was $60,000 a year. So they gave them a raise to $58,000. They gave them a raise. They've been there for less than a year. Gave them a raise. Like, a couple of them were there for like 6 months even. Gave them a raise from $45,000 a year to $58,000 a year. And so I couldn't even give them a raise to that $60,000 average. So it just goes to show even more, these guys they will do the absolute bare minimum, and even that's below the bare minimum of what they could do. And so then he was like, yeah, I'm still going to leave. So, he went through the interview process with our current employer. He got the offer. So he gave our previous employer a 2-week notice. And then, I kid you not, the owner of the company was begging him to stay. Because at that point, they had already lost 3 employees, including me, like counting me. And this is all within a 3-month time span. They were losing employees. And this company isn't like it's not a big company or anything. It's fairly small. It's like maybe a few dozen employees or something like that. So they were losing 3 almost senior level, if not senior level, people within 3 months, with other people talking about wanting to leave as well. So they were begging this guy to stay and gave him an offer, like a counter offer to what our current employer was giving him, and it was still less than what our current employer was offering him. And so he was like, yeah, no, I'm gonna just take this offer and go. So now we work together. Now they've lost 4 employees that were very crucial to their business. So now they're really freaking out. So guess what? They gave the guys that have been there for less than a year, at this point, like 8 months, I think. Maybe, I don't know, 8 to 10 months, 8 to 11 months or something. I don't know. Less than a year. These new guys are now making $87,000 a year as entry-level developers that have been with them for less than a year. When I left, I had been there for almost 2 years. I was 3 months shy of being with this company for 2 years, making $45,700. And now these guys are making $87,000. These employers do not care about you. They will only treat you well when they have to, when they absolutely have to. And so yeah. And the reason, and I got thinking about this today because I've been seeing like recent news reports of Ubisoft having to give their employees like 20% raises and 4-day work weeks, and you know, they're giving them a lot, like a lot of what they were asking for, because those people were getting underpaid and overworked, pretty much how it was for me. And people started leaving, like senior level staff started leaving, so Ubisoft started freaking out and started giving out these bonuses, this pay, these benefits that they could have given them from the beginning, but they didn't because they felt like they didn't have to. And now that they're losing people, they feel like they have to, so they're giving out these bonuses and these perks and all this stuff because they're losing people. These companies, they do not need any sort of help for anything. They have the money to give employees what they want, what they deserve, but they choose not to so they can line their pockets even more. These companies, they do not deserve employee loyalty because they will not give it to you at all. They will give you what you want if they are forced to, if they absolutely have to, even though they have the ability to, like forever ago. They will not do it unless they have to. They will give you the absolute bare minimum unless they have to give you a little bit more. They do not deserve employee loyalty because they do not care. They only care about themselves and how much money they can line their own pockets. And so, like I was telling my buddies, don't feel bad about leaving a company. Don't feel bad about leaving a company when you haven't been there for like a year or whatever. There shouldn't be a time frame of how long you should stay at a company before you leave them. If you have better opportunity somewhere else, go. Take it. Make the jump. Because your current employer will not give you what you want unless they are forced to. Unless they are scared of losing more people. Because I don't know, maybe it's a big-headed of me, but I like to think my departure was like the domino effect of the other 3 departures. I know for sure one other one was because of me leaving. And so they were scared that they were going to lose more employees and just, you know, they were going to struggle. They're already struggling. Like I heard that, you know, some of my old coworkers that I still talk to, saying that they were talking about, they were saying that they cannot afford to lose anybody else. So that is why these guys are now making almost double what I was making there when I had been there for double the time. So these companies do not deserve your loyalty. If you get another opportunity, do not feel bad about leaving them, no matter how long you've been at this place, because they do not care. Anyways, I need to get going. Got my glasses and I need to make a return for this splitter that ended up not working like at all. Like it definitely split my monitor, but at the cost of my 2K monitor being like a ultra stretched, ugly looking 1080p. So this is going back, and I guess I'm gonna head out now. Pretty embarrassing, but I need some new windshield wipers. You hear that? That's super embarrassing. I need to get some new ones soon. I think he's trying to do some laundry. Yeah. With his makeshift scarf on his neck. Yeah. Hi, you got your scarf?